Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about aesthetic versus efferent texts today. And the two texts that we are going to talk about are The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle and Are You a Butterfly by Judy Allen and Tudor Humphreys. The common theme or topic that they share is the butterfly life cycle. The first text, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, is a beloved children's book that combines storytelling with the theme of growth and transformation. The second text, Are You a Butterfly by Judy Allen and Tudor Humphreys, is an educational nonfiction book that explains the butterfly life cycle with factual precision. While both texts address the same theme, they do so in very different ways, which offers us the perfect opportunity to explore the concepts of aesthetic and efferent reading. In The Very Hungry Caterpillar, the focus is on sensory imagery and emotional engagement. The caterpillar's growth is depicted through vivid illustrations, and the narrative structure is simple yet captivating. The emotions of wonder and anticipation guide the reader through the stages of transformation. The book focuses more on the experience rather than providing scientific detail. In contrast, Are You a Butterfly provides factual data about the butterfly life cycle. This nonfiction text explains the process of metamorphosis with clarity and precision. It uses simple language to teach the stages of life a butterfly undergoes, focusing entirely on knowledge transfer. All right, let's compare the two approaches of reading, both aesthetic and efferent, and how they're used in these two texts. Ways that they are alike is that both are types of reading, obviously. We're going to read both aesthetic and efferent texts to gain something, whether it's enjoyment or just information. Both of these use words to communicate their ideas. They share knowledge, experiences, or emotions in their own ways. And both can be interesting and engaging. Even the nonfiction or efferent book can tell exciting facts in a fun way. Just like stories, the aesthetic book can be full of adventure and emotion. Ways they are different. The aesthetic texts are the purpose is to enjoy, imagine, or feel emotions. And the efferent text, the purpose is to learn, remember, or gather facts. Examples of both aesthetic texts could be stories, poems, plays, songs. Efferent texts could be textbooks, how-to books, news articles, instructions. The language style that we would use for aesthetic texts are descriptive, expressive, and creative, while efferent texts use clear, direct, and factual. What we take away from an aesthetic text is an emotional or imaginative experience, and from an efferent text, it's information, facts, or knowledge. When we read, we often do so for different reasons. Sometimes to immerse ourselves in a story, and other times to gain knowledge or information. These two purposes align with the concepts of aesthetic and efferent reading. Both types of texts are very important. Aesthetic texts take us on a journey, while efferent texts help us to understand the world. Aesthetic reading is focused on emotional engagement, sensory experience, and personal interpretation. In The Very Hungry Caterpillar, readers are invited to experience the caterpillar's transformation in a way that is both fun and engaging. The text uses visuals and repetitive language to stimulate curiosity and emotional connections. Efferent reading, on the other hand, emphasizes extracting factual information and knowledge. In Are You a Butterfly? Readers are encouraged to learn specific facts about the butterfly life cycle. It provides us detailed information, enabling the reader to understand the biological process in a structured and factual manner. The key difference here is that aesthetic reading evokes feelings and sensory responses, while efferent reading focuses on knowledge acquisition. Aesthetic reading allows the reader to immerse in the experience, while efferent reading ensures that the information is understood clearly and retained for future use. The aesthetic approach, using the Very Hungry Caterpillar book, impacts the reader's understanding by making the concept of metamorphosis relatable on an emotional level. The caterpillar's transformation becomes symbolic of personal growth, change, and development. The fun illustrations and simple language draw the reader into the story. The efferent approach, using Are You a Butterfly text, provides facts and scientific explanations, allowing the readers to develop a concrete understanding of the butterfly life cycle. This approach is crucial in educational contexts where factual knowledge is needed to explain real-world phenomena. Both approaches are invaluable in a K-12 context. Aesthetic reading encourages imagination, critical thinking, and emotional engagement with the material, making abstract concepts accessible and relatable. Meanwhile, efferent reading fosters analytical thinking and a deeper understanding of the facts, which is important for developing critical thinking skills and applying knowledge in real-world situations. As I reflect on these two different reading approaches, I've learned that aesthetic and efferent reading each offer unique benefits. Aesthetic reading opens up opportunities for emotional connection, creativity, and imagination. It's important in fostering empathy and curiosity, especially for younger learners. On the other hand, efferent reading provides a more structured way of gaining knowledge. It ensures readers can walk away with concrete facts and logical understanding of a topic. In my future teaching practices, I plan to integrate both approaches. I'll use aesthetic reading to engage students emotionally, to spark their curiosity and make learning enjoyable. At the same time, I'll use efferent reading to provide clear, factual understandings that can later be applied in academic settings. By blending both types of reading, I can create a balanced learning environment that supports both creative and critical thinking. Thank you for watching this video. We've explored the differences between aesthetic and efferent reading and how both approaches contribute to deeper learning. By understanding these differences, we can better cater to the needs of students and to create more engaging, well-rounded lessons that inspire both emotional connection and intellectual growth. Here is just a look at what the aesthetic life cycle of a butterfly looks like based off of the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And this is what the efferent life cycle of a butterfly looks like using Are You a Butterfly? Both factual and presented facts in different ways, but both are very critical in our students' learning.